Okay, so here we go. Um, Last year I talked about physics. This year, let's change the subject and a little bit about college. Let's be frank, it does cost a lot for anyone, any family to go abroad. So let's talk about it. I mean, most of us has made the decision as to why we should go abroad for universities. And yes, along the process, we must all have had an idea of what universities are and what they can give. But let me today try to give a talk about it fair and square without any biases. Or maybe not really without any biases, but with a ton of biases. So first question, what can universities not offer us? There are a wide range of purposes many of us assign to a university. For one, it's a place where we can get to know each other, know people all over the world interested in vastly different subjects. It can also be mandatory for jobs. If you ever thought over this, have a clear understanding, have a clear answer for yourself, then no problem. However, the world is changing super fast. It is evolving. And the same purposes we used to assign to universities might not be true currently. And also, it is true for people that went to universities perhaps decades earlier. So first question, what can universities not offer? What is it not for? My first point is teaching, hardcore teaching, that is worth the price you pay. Now, it is actually very hard to define the word education. It's 1,000 things for 1,000 people, but it's much easier to define the word teaching. I will invent a very simple definition here, what professors teach, teaching. And so take me as an example. What exactly do an Oxford physics student learn? This is the complete folder containing all the physics-related notes an Oxford physics undergraduate student learns. For the first year, they probably just learn these 4 courses. All right. So everything physics-related Oxford offers for its students is basically this. Except in reality, it's much less because most of this is optional courses, and you just got to take a few of them. And one more thing, it is absolutely possible to self-study all these courses just by these sets of notes. You don't need to go there, you don't need to attend Oxford. Just by these sets of notes, it's actually very, very possible. Why? Because that is how most of Oxford students currently study, self-study. What about lectures? What about classes? The ground logic is the best lectures are transcribed into lecture notes, and over the years, these notes are corrected by their students. Good notes are then compiled into published books. So especially for physics, there's really nothing preventing anyone from self-studying all the way to a complete physicist. And I know the same holds for many other subjects. So yes, this, in some digital form, in notes form, is everything Oxford offers for their physics program. It's nothing much, aside from some other useless experiments that we have to do to pass the course. The real problem is I haven't even started my first year at Oxford, so how the hell do I know? Simple answer, I just ask. In this era where the internet rocks, what happens if someone really likes a subject but has no teacher? No problem. Just go on the internet and find some set of videos and lecture notes, and that is exactly how I studied most of my extracurricular physics, through books and online lecture notes. If you ask any other physics student, it's probably the same thing. The essential thing is, courses that will charge you $1,000 plus per semester can be learned through free online resources, and the outcome is pretty much 100% the same. Therefore, no one needs to attend a university just to study these courses and knowledge. Self-learning is a lifelong skill that has become more than possible in this era, probably not true 20 years ago, where everything is connected. And second point, universities cannot give us some kind of magical prestige that is going to make everything easier all of a sudden. Let's be honest with ourselves. What is the single most easiest way to earn money for us international students? Well, especially for us graduate students, to help others in their applications. And this is just one example that I pulled up from the internet yesterday, just within a search. There really is nothing wrong about it, but it really is such a weird phenomenon if you think about it. Let me say that again. The easiest money-making industry for international students, I mean on average, is the industry that helps our younger students younger generations apply. There's nothing wrong with it, but it really tells us something. I mean, if you think about it, to whom does the prestige of colleges matter most? It should be the employers of companies that we graduate and apply to, but no, because employers only care about rankings and prestige because for them it's a way to shrink the size of the applicant pool. It's the first round of shrinking the size. What truly matters in the end is job applicants' connections and their abilities, not the prestige of the colleges that they go to. In the end, prestige matters most to certain parents of younger kids applying to colleges, thinking the prestige itself will magically change the lives of people. So whose lives actually got magically changed by the prestige of colleges? Those who went to a school with high prestige and are now helping younger kids apply, selling some weird prestige anxiety to parents along the way. And what can prestige anxiety actually cause? Well, perhaps a whole new industry that has never existed before. And this is what I pulled up yesterday just within a Google search. One Google search, actually. There really needs to be no actual proof for my claim if you think about it. Prestige should not matter at all if your purpose is not to show off. Why would it? Yes, a high ranking might also mean more resources and connections, but like I said earlier, is the marginal utility of going to a school with a bit higher ranking than another school really that large? Can schools really provide us that much resources? Well, is there actually that much difference between schools? I don't think so. Second question. Okay, so back again. Does prestige really matter? Yes, but mostly no. Second questions. Are universities really necessary? That's a tough one. But let's break it down into a simpler question. Are traditional universities necessary? Let me give one simple example. This is Minerva University. Some of you might have heard of it. In short, Minerva University doesn't care as much about the teaching of a certain type of knowledge, aside from these thought structures, how to think, and how to apply them. In the first year, they learn these so-called cornerstone courses that are claimed to teach them these and how to apply them into real situations. During their 4 years as an undergrad, students will basically be traveling all around the world, study at a total of 7 places, experiencing the local cultures and basically learn and study and solve problems, so as it claims. It claims that, not really sure about that. And I'm also pretty sure that the practical executions of these ideals are not as beautiful as it advocates. Students still complain about the workload, lack of connection with seniors because they're in different locations physically, and the impracticality of the things being taught. Also, it is definitely not suitable for anyone interested in science because it just doesn't teach it. Still, it gives us an alternative to think about traditional universities. Are the original traditional universities really that good? Is it really upkeeping with the pace of societal change? One common difference we see in unconventional universities popping up these past decade or so is that they utilize the rapid changes occurring around the world. I don't think creative teaching and studying around the globe is as important as they challenge the idea that you don't need to sit around in a classroom studying lectures, but it truly embraces online learning, self-learning explicitly into its experience. So are traditional universities necessary? I think the real hidden meaning we all give to universities is this. Prestigious universities give us credentials so that we can find jobs and succeed more easily in life. This credential is almost an insurance of life. And this insurance is real. It does give us a safety net, these prestigious universities, a graduation certificate. But I think the coming of schools like Minerva is really more symbolic in the sense that it tells us so directly that universities mean so much more than an insurance of life. As a university, despite all the propaganda, let's be frank, Minerva does not have a high reputation. In fact, it is not in any sort of ranking. But the students that go there are telling us that despite such safeties, it is so much more important to find a place that they truly like. And that just because of this, they can also succeed in society without the safety nets of a prestigious university credential. What's the safety net that I was just talking about? Well, if we go back a few slides in the PPT, that's, first of all, first safety net, and second safety net. Okay. I'm not saying that it's not right to like traditional universities. I'm saying that the coming of these creative universities and their students tells us to please peel off that layer of universities as an insurance, a way of gaining social status so easily, so magical, so that we can see things aside from these prestige. Are schools like Harvard because of some vague prestige and renown? Yes and no. Harvard does have a high prestige, but it is also ranked so high because of its faculty, its students, its facilities, and so much more. Harvard's renown, its widespread name, has made it seem like it's so much better than all these schools. And you can see that there's so much comparison, that it's so much better. Well, in reality, it's pretty much quite the exact opposite. Yes, it has world-class facilities, but it's not that different compared to other schools. Yes, it has world-class opportunities, but is it really Harvard that gives students opportunities, or excelled students being admitted into Harvard in the first place? And again, there's really nothing wrong with wanting your kids to go to a certain university, but please give it some more thought before you do so. And these are just some examples of kids actually going to these prestigious universities and thinking that it's really not the case that they thought they would experience before they go there. And that will be just the end of my talk. Thank you guys for listening.